Hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
Good to see you all again. Hi, I'm doing pretty good today, thanks. I think what we have on the plan today, on the schedule today, is the second half of the practice quiz for simple interest. And I did them ahead of time, which is always good. Cuts down on my mistakes. So we're going to begin with number 9. And you've noticed in this chapter, it's pretty much all one formula, which is the simple interest formula, which is, I can write it up here. The interest, simple interest, is the principal that is borrowed times the rate at which you borrow times the time. In last class, we did several of those, and we had to calculate time different ways, depending on whether they gave us months or a year or even days. So more of that to come. And also a few problems when we actually have to calculate the days, which doesn't sound that hard to do, counting days on a calendar, but it's easy to make little mistakes on that. So you have to be careful. And finally, a couple questions that will give you something like the interest rate and time and ask you for the principal. So you got to shift things around a little bit in an algebra 1 kind of way before you calculate. But I'll show you how we enter them in the Desmos calculator, and then it's really no problem. So let's see, we're down here, way down here. Module 4, simple interest. Sorry. Let me make that available. Should have been made available already, sorry. There's the first 8 questions worked out up there. And here's the practice quiz. And we're going to preview it starting on number 9. Okay. Slingerland borrowed $8,000 on July 20th at 11% interest. If the loan was due on October 17th, what was the amount of interest on the loan using the exact interest method? Does anybody remember from last class what they mean by exact interest method? It had to do with days. The exact interest, go ahead.
No, sorry, I forgot what that is.
That's okay. It was the one where we used the 365-day year, which I know what you're thinking. Of course, it's 365 days. Yeah, that's the one that gets used a lot more often. And then I think there was one called the ordinary interest method, where they used a 360-day year. Doesn't get used as often, but that's the difference between those. So when you see exact interest method, know that you're assuming 365 days in a year. So we got $8,000 at 11%. So that's our principal and our interest rate. Easy enough. We have to calculate our time. Obviously, it's going to be in days, but we have to do a little figuring. And it's going to go borrowed in July. It's going to be due in October. So I just because I can make little mistakes, I'm trying to be careful, and I try to write out each month that's involved and count the number of days that's involved for each month. And me being an old man, I actually looked at the calendar on my phone and counted the partial month days anyway. Excuse me. So since this starts in July and ends in October, it covers part of July, all of September, August and September, and part of October. So those are the months that are involved. Then we have to figure out how many days we have to count out of each of those months. Let me start with the two easy ones. It's all of August. Excuse me. So that's 31. 31 days in August. It's all of September. So there's 30 days in September. Excuse me, get a bottle of water here. So I guess the first question is, how many days do we count in July? Well, July has 31 days. It's borrowed on the 20th. So counting the day after the 20th, that's 11 days in July that get counted. So we count 11 of the days in July because it starts on the 20th. It ends on October 17th. So we count 17 days worth of October. Excuse me again. So how many total days did they borrow this money for? If we add all those up. Let's see, 11 plus 31 plus 30 plus 17, that is 89 days. So Singerland borrowed this money for 89 days based on a 365-day year. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's the same thing I got.
Okay, good. What's that?
I have a question.
Sure.
So if July has 31 days, how come August got 31 days as well?
Well, just the different days in a month in our calendar.
I thought it'd be 30, then 31, then 30, then 31, but I don't know.
Well, August has 31 days in. Excuse me. Yeah, I always have to do a little rhyme in my head. January, February, March, April, May. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So a little calendar review here. Excuse me. Let's see. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. So there's 31 days in January. February is the weird one. It's got 28. March has 31 days. April only has 30 days. What about May? Is that 31?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's
Okay.
31.
and 30 in June, 31 in July, 31 in August, $30 in September, 31 in August. November has, is November 30?
Yes, it's November's it has 30 days.
Okay, thank you.
That one's easy because my daughter's birthday is the 30th of November.
There you go.
So the last day of the month.
I was impressed. I was impressed for a second. This is just not something you look at all the time, so it kind of slips your mind.
Yeah.
Now, December is 31, right? All right. So those are all the different number of days in every month in our messed up calendar. So I'm sorry about that, but that happened centuries ago. So they didn't ask me. So when we said we borrowed the money on the 20th of July, July has 31 days. So we count the days after the 20th. So we get 31 days in July minus the 20 days. So that's where the 11 came from. That's where this number came from. Then all of August, August has 31 days. That's all of August. All of September, excuse me. September has 30 days. And then through the 17th of October. So we only have to count 17 days in October. So that's how I got 89 days. So we add all those up. We get 89 days. Let's go over to our trusty little calculator here and say our interest is our principal for this problem. 8,000 is our principal. Excuse me, I'm gonna take some cough syrup here in a second. Times the rate, which is 11%, times the time. Now the time was 89 days divided by how many days in a year? 365. So that's what I get. And give me 1 minute, take some cough syrup so we can get through this class. All right, we'll see if that works. So is that what you got, 21458?
Yes, that's what I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So let's see. Hopefully that's one of the answers. There it is right there. All right, I'm going to leave my little calendar up there. Go to the next problem. All right, now we're just simply counting days. The loan was made on August 21st and due November 20th. So the months involved here are August, part of August, all of September, all of October, part of November. All right, if it's made on the 21st of August and there are 31 days in August, how many days do we count for August?
It's 31.
That's if it was the whole month.
Oh, I see.
It was
Well,
made on
tell
the
me what's that.
21st.
It's not, yeah, though, so it's 10 days.
There you go. Very good. So we only have to count 10 days of August because the loan was made on the 21st. And then how about September?
I think September is 30, yeah, 30 days.
Very good. October.
That's 31.
And then November
And
20th. So that would be what, 20 days for
20
November, right?
days.
There you go. Add them up and see what we get. I get 91. So we add up
That
all
was
these. Is
correct.
that what you got too?
Yes, I have a 91.
Very good. Okay, good. We agree. So there are 91 days in this loan. We don't have to do anything but that. Okay, a loan made on October 3rd, due the following January 15th. So the months involved are October, November, December, and part of January. So part of October and part of January. So if it was made on October 3rd, you have to count all the rest of the days in October. So how many is that? How many do we count?
31.
There's 31 days, but we don't count the first 3 days because see, the loan was made on the 3rd. So if you take those 3 days out, how many days do you count out of the? Very good, 28. Because if the loan was made for the beginning of the month, then you would count the whole month. But it's made on the 3rd, so those 3 days don't count, but the other 28 days do, because you didn't have the money the first 3 days.
Right.
All right, how many days for November do we count?
30.
Very good. All of them 30. December,
31.
very good. Now January, it's due on the 15th. So how many days do we count for January?
15.
There you go. Nice. This stuff used to confuse the hell out of me. I swear. I was counting days on the calendar. So it seems like a simple task, but it can be very confusing. All right, so how many days total does that add up to?
I got 105. 105. No, 104.
1, oh,
Yeah, I have 104 also.
All right, sounds good. So 104 days is how long the loan was done for. Now, a little bit different. They give us the number of days, and we have to figure out when it's due, the due date. So we'll have to start counting days starting in the month of August. It's taken out on the 9th until we get close to 101, and then we'll do some figuring from there. So let's see. It's going to include August, obviously all of August, because there's not 101 days in August. If it's borrowed, if it's taken out on the 9th, how many days in August are we going to count? There's 31 days in August. It's taken out on the 9th. So how many days left in August?
It's 21, 22 days. I have 22.
22 days. All right, we're trying to add up to 101. So we're not there yet. Then we go, September's next. How many days in September?
Is it 31, 30?
30. Very good. So now you can see if we added these two together, we're up to 50, we're up to 52 days, but we want to get up to 101 days. So we're going to have to keep going. October has how many days?
31.
Thank you. So if we add these three up now, we're up to 61, 83 days. So we're still not up to 101. So these three add up to 83 days. We're trying to get to 101. Now that's gonna, how many more do we need? 18 more?
Yeah, 18 more days.
All right, good. So we need to go 18 days into November to add up to 101. So if we go 18 days in November, that's going to be November 18th. And then all four of these add up to 101. So if we borrowed a loan on the 9th and we needed it for 101 days, the due date would be November 18th. All right, here is a similar one. Let me give you a few minutes to do this. You start in June and you keep going until you get up to 54 days and see where that is. So let me give you a few minutes to try it on your own, and then I'll come behind you and do it, and we'll see if we agree.
I got August 11th.
All right, let's see what we get here. Let's see, June. The 30 days in June. It's made on the 18th, so 12 days for June.
12,
All right. So I get July.
31,
Thank you. And that adds up to 43. So to get to 54, how many days in August do we have to go?
11.
Very good. So whoever said that, you are correct. That adds up to 54 days, which is what we wanted. So August 11th is the maturity date of the loan. Now this problem is like the ones we did last class. Simple interest. You're given the principal, the interest, and the time. So, and we're asked to use the exact interest method. So that's for 365 days a year. So let's put those in our calculator and see what we get. Principal is that times interest rate, 9.5%, so 0.095 times the time. And we are doing it for 320 out of 365. So I get 1020, 27. That's how much interest is on that loan. A loan of 12,250 at 9.5% for 320 days. There it is. Nice. Now here's what I'm talking about. It's gonna ask, it gives us everything, but asks for the principal. So probably the easiest thing to do is to take our formula up here and solve it for principal. If you don't remember how to do that, it's a little bit of algebra 1, but we want to get the P by itself. In order to do that, we divide off the R and the T. So on both sides of the equation, we divide by the R and the T. And on this side, that cancels out. And we'd have to do it on both sides. So the R and T is over here as well. So this formula rewritten for principal is the principal, the principal is equal to the interest divided by the rate times the time. So we just took the same formula and rewrote it for what we needed. And there it is. So now we can plug these numbers in because we're given the rate here, the time here, and the interest amount here. So in this case, and I'll put it in a calculator, but in this case, the principal equals the interest 270.50 divided by the rate times the time, 0.0975 times 254 divided by 365. Looks ugly written like this, but it goes in the calculator pretty easily. 270.50 divided by 0.0975 times the time, which is 254 days out of the exact method, so out of the 365. day year. And you got one too many. One too many decimal places there. There we go. $3,986.78. Excuse me. They rounded it all the way up to the nearest dollar, whole dollar amount. So 3,987. And I'm going to keep that formula that I rearranged because I have a feeling I'm going to need it again. Two more questions. Suppose you took out a loan for 12% for 200 days. Interest was $690.41. Exact method, find out the principal you borrowed. So we're looking for the principal, and we have that formula rewritten. You know, we take the interest. In this problem, it's $690.41. And we divide it by the rate, which is 12%, 0.12, times the time, 200 days divided by 365 days. So let me go pop all that in a calculator. This is question 16. There we go. Put my book over here. Calculator. $690.41 divided by the interest rate 0.212 times the time with the exact method, 200 days out of a 365-day year. So I get 10,499.98. They asked it to be the nearest whole dollar amount. So that'd be 10,500. All right, one more problem. And this time they're asking us to find the rate. So we're going to have to rewrite our equation one more time to get rate by itself. So starting with the original equation, to get rate by itself, we have to divide off the P and the T. Have to do that on both sides. So over here, the P cancels, the T cancels, we're left with the rate. So our formula written this way is the rate equals the interest divided by the principal times the time. So there's our formula rewritten to find the rate. So if you would, here's the question. Now notice it says ordinary interest method. That means you assume 360 days in the year. So that our time will be over 360. Here's your principal. Here's your interest. Here's your time. 285 days, but you divide by 360 this time. So let me give you a second to try that and then I'll do it on a calculator and see if we agree. Okay, let's put this in a calculator. $590 in interest divided by $8,000 principal times the time of 285, but this time divided by 360. Does that answer look similar to any of your answers?
Yes, I had the same answer.
All right, makes me feel good. So that's
It's for the 800. It's I don't know. Was it supposed to? Okay, I see.
You're right. You're right. It's 8,000. There we go. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Threw me off one decimal place. Thank you for catching that.
You're welcome.
All right. So it's 0.093, which is 9.3%. Which is 9.3%. There it is. All right. So that is our practice test. And make sure the test is available. It is. No hurry to take it, but you know how that goes. Probably nice to go ahead and knock it off before too long because we tend to forget things if we wait. But that's it for today. So, and if you start taking it and you have a question while you're taking it, please text me. You know, you can always text me with your questions. That's the fastest way for us to resolve any problems. And here is my mobile again. So if you need me between now and Wednesday, please just give me a text. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.